Alright space fans, buckle up, you've probably heard of Hubble, you've definitely heard of James Webb Space Telescope, but what about the Nancy Grace Roman Space Telescope? This mission is NASA's next big leap in space astronomy. Some even call it Hubble on steroids. But here's the catch. Despite being nearly finished, despite billions of dollars already invested, and despite the insane science it promises, it might never even fly. Why? Well, politics, budgets, and a whole lot of drama. So today we are diving deep into what the Roman Space Telescope actually is and what it can do, how it compares to Hubble and James Webb Space Telescope, this one, and why right now it's in danger of being cancelled even after NASA has spent almost $5 billion building it. This is going to be a mix of science, history, and a bit of political thriller. Let's go! First, the basics. The Nancy Grace Roman Space Telescope, or just Roman for short, is NASA's next flagship astrophysics mission. It's named after Nancy Grace Roman, NASA's very first chief of astronomy, often called the mother of Hubble. She basically pushed Hubble into the existence back in the 1960s and 70s. So naming this telescope after her is pretty fitting. Roman is scheduled for launch in 2027, at least if it survives budget cuts. But technically it's already very far along. The hardware is built, the instruments are integrated, and the spacecraft is going through tests already. If nothing else goes wrong, it will be ready to ride a Falcon Heavy or maybe an SLS to space in just a couple of years. But what makes Roman so special? Let's put it this way. Hubble, the Hubble Space Telescope, gave us high-resolution images of distant galaxies. Webb gave us infrared superpowers to peek into the early universe. And Roman is going to give us the wide-angle lens we've been missing. Imagine Hubble's sharp vision, but instead of looking through a tiny drinking straw at the sky, Roman opens up a panoramic view. Its field of view is about 100 times larger than Hubble's. That means where Hubble sees a postage stamp, Roman sees a whole billboard. And that matters because science is all about statistics. To understand dark matter, dark energy, exoplanets, and cosmic structure, we don't just want one or two galaxies, we want millions. Roman is basically built to do cosmic surveys on scale Hubble couldn't only dream of. Okay, let's break down the science into bite-sized missions. Roman has two main instruments. The Wide Field Instrument, WFI, this is the powerhouse. It's like Hubble's famous wide field camera, except with a much bigger detector array. 18 detectors, each 16 megapixels, all working together to create gigapixels images of the cosmos. This instrument will map huge patches of the universe in visible and near-infrared light. So what does that get us? A massive survey of galaxies to understand how dark energy drives cosmic expansion. A giant map of dark matter by using gravitational lensing, millions of supernovae to test the physics of cosmic acceleration. In short, Roman is designed to be the dark energy telescope, picking up where missions like WMAP, Planck, and even Webb leave off. The coronagraph instrument. This is the wild card here. Think of it as a NASA's practice run for directly imaging exoplanets. It uses advanced optics and masks to block out the blinding light of a star, so we can see the tiny faint planet right next to it. Roman's chronograph won't be as powerful as future telescopes, but it's a tech demo. So Roman isn't just another space telescope, it's a dual mission. Wide field cosmology and next generation exoplanet imaging. pretty ambitious for one spacecraft. Comparison with Hubble and James Webb Space Telescope. Now let's do the fun part, comparisons. Everyone always wants to know how does Roman compare to Hubble and the James Webb Space Telescope. Mirror size. Hubble has a 2.4 meters mirror. The James Webb Space Telescope has a massive 6.5 meter golden honeycomb. Roman? What about Roman? Well, Roman has a 2.4 meter mirror, almost exactly the same as Hubble. Fun fact, the mirror of the Roman Space Telescope actually came from a cancelled spy satellite program donated to NASA by the National Reconnaissance Office. Yep, Roman is a flying government surplus hardware. Wavelength. Hubble looks mostly in visible and some ultraviolet. James Webb Space Telescope specializes in infrared. Roman is optimized for near-infrared like Webb, but with a wide field. Field of view. This is where Roman blows the others away. Remember, Hubble is narrow, Webb is medium, Roman is giant panorama. It can map the same area of sky 1,000 times faster than Hubble. The Nancy Grace Roman Space Telescope, NASA's next big gamble? Alright, now for the spicy part, the money and the politics. Here's the situation. The Roman Space Telescope is almost done. NASA has already invested about $3.9 billion into it. The instruments are built, the mirror is in place, tests are happening. Normally, at this stage, cancelling a mission would be unthinkable. You don't pull the plug on a nearly finished project, right? Well, in early 2025 this year, the White House released its proposed budget and it shocked the whole science community. The proposal called for about a 24% cut to NASA's overall science budget, which translates to nearly a 47% cut in astrophysics programs specifically. That's almost half. And buried in the proposal, the suggestion to cancel the Roman Space Telescope entirely. Yep, imagine that, nearly $4 billion sunk. Years of work, hundreds of scientists and engineers all thrown away. The idea behind the cuts is supposedly to prioritize certain projects, but in practice it would mean dozens of missions cancelled, including Roman. This would be the largest single-year cut to NASA science in history. Naturally, scientists were outraged. The American Astronomical Society called it an unprecedented setback. Thousands of NASA employees and contractors signed what's been dubbed to the Voyager Declaration, warning that these cuts threaten not just Roman, but the entire future of US space science. Even former astronauts spoke out. They basically said, look, spacecraft already has risk. Don't add political sabotage on top of it. But here's the nuance. The president proposes a budget, but Congress actually decides. And Congress historically loves space. So while Roman is on the chopping block in the proposal, it's not that yet. Lawmakers could restore the funding, but until then, the mission future is still uncertain. What's at stake? So let's think about what's actually at stake here. If Roman gets cancelled, we lose our best chance to directly tackle the mystery of dark energy, the force accelerating the universe expansion. We lose a once-in-a-generation opportunity to map cosmic structure with a precision Hubble and Webb can't match. And we lose a critical stepping stone in exoplanet technology. The coronagraph is essentially a prototype for future missions that could one day image Earth-like worlds around Sun-like stars. Cancelling Roman now would not only waste billions already spent, it would cripple astrophysics for decades. But if Roman flies, we will get datasets so rich they will fuel astronomy for the next 20 years. We will have panoramic sky maps that will complement Webb's deep zoom perfectly. And we will be one step closer to answering the biggest question in science. What is dark energy? What is the fate of the universe? Are we alone? it's that dramatic. Roman could either become the telescope that unlocks cosmology or the most expensive cancelled telescope in history. Big picture. Here's where I want to step back. NASA's history is full of missions that nearly died but were saved at the last minute. Hubble itself was almost cancelled multiple times. James Webb, it went $10 billion over budget and more than a decade later, and yet it finally launched and is now rewriting textbooks. Roman could follow the same path. Right now it's hanging in the balance, but the science case is so strong and the investment so large that many believe Congress will step in and rescue it. But nothing is guaranteed. And here's the irony. Roman is the most cost-efficient of the big flagship telescopes. Webb costs over 10 billion. Hubble, inflation adjusted, was about 16 billion. And Roman, less than 4 billion so far. And yet Roman might be one that gets the axe. So when you see headlines about NASA budget cuts, remember, it's not just numbers on a spreadsheet. It's whether humanity will get to see the universe in an entirely new way, or whether years of work will be left gathering dust in a warehouse. Conclusion. Alright, let's wrap this up. The Nancy Grace Roman Space Telescope is the kind of mission that comes along once in a generation. It's the wide field eye on the cosmos we've been missing. It's designed to crack the mystery of dark energy, map the invisible scaffolding of dark matter, and push us closer to directly imaging alien worlds. It's a telescope with the vision of Hubble, the technology of Webb, and a unique ability to see the universe in panorama. And yet, despite all of this, its future is uncertain. Not because of engineering, not because of science, but because of politics. So maybe the story of Roman isn't just about astronomy. Maybe it's about what kind of future we want. Do we want to keep pushing, keep exploring, keep answering the hardest questions about the cosmos? Or do we let short-term politics snuff out one of the greatest scientific tools humanity has ever built? Time will tell. But if Roman flies, it could very well be the telescope that redefines our place in the universe. Thanks for watching, and hey, if you enjoyed this dive into space science, hit that like button, subscribe for more cosmic content, and let me know in the comments. If you were in charge, would you save Roman or would you spend the money somewhere else? Thank you for watching. See you next time. Clear skies.